Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm coming at you not from our good old studio, but from Las Vegas, Nevada, where I'm currently attending CES, which is the largest consumer technology fair in the world. Obviously, lots of CES content coming your way. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you like nerding out about tech together, you should definitely consider subscribing to the channel. And if you do decide to do so, that would obviously be much appreciated. Anyway, I noticed that my everyday carry, my EDC, if you will, differs quite a bit here in Vegas from what I would be carrying around at home. So I thought I would shoot a quick little video about all the stuff I consider to be essentials whilst I'm here. I personally always really enjoy EDC videos myself, love checking out what others are carrying in their pockets, so I hope you'll enjoy this one as well. Let's ramble.
Hold up, place go wild when I pull up. They all on me like it wants them.
All right, so first of all, a quick caveat about this setup here. The lighting changes all the time. There's a lot of noise, there's planes flying and stuff. So please bear with me if any of that happens. I think you should be hearing an airplane right now and the sun is coming through. So it's almost like Vegas is trying to prove my point here. Anyway, let's just go on. So every EDC, in my opinion, starts with a good bag, especially when you're doing a lot of walking like I am here in Las Vegas. CES is absolutely ginormous, so a decent bag to carry all of my stuff is pretty crucial. In my case, I'm using the Grams 28 152 Transit backpack. I've featured this guy on my channel more than once, and it is absolutely one of my favorites. It's probably my most used all-rounder bag. I had a pretty bad fall on my Super 73 e-bike recently whilst wearing this guy, and apart from a few minor scuffs here and there, it held up really nicely. And I gotta say, it did protect my shoulder and my back a little bit, so I'm low-key happy that I was wearing this. I don't like the scuffs, obviously, but you can barely see them, and I think that also attests a little bit to the quality of this stuff. More importantly though, at something like CES is that you have good padding, which this one has as well. So it doesn't start hurting my back or my shoulders. And inside the bag, there's a couple of crucial items for me. But before we get into those, let's quickly start about some of my EDC stuff that doesn't go into this bag. Starting off with this watch, this is the Rolex GMT Master 2, also known as the Pepsi, if you know, you know. And there's a reason why I'm wearing this specific watch for this trip. But apart from the fact that I absolutely love this watch, it's probably my favorite right now. It is a GMT watch, and what that means is that it can keep track of up to 3 time zones at once, which is really useful because there is a 9-hour time difference between this place and my home. So there's only certain times in the day where I can call my wife and my kids, and instead of having to calculate every single time, I can just glance down at my watch and know exactly what time it is over there, so I know whether everybody is still awake or if the kids are already in bed. The way it works is pretty simple. The regular time hands show the current time here in Vegas, and the red GMT hand, as it's called, will tell me what time it is at home by pointing at the corresponding hour on the 24-hour bezel. Really super useful feature if you're a frequent traveler, and of course this is an absolutely amazing watch and a pleasure to wear. It looks as good on a white t-shirt or a hoodie as it does with a shirt and tie. Absolutely love this thing. Another thing I've really come to appreciate is this ultra thin card wallet. I usually prefer keeping a pocket organizer in my EDC, you know, one of those little bifolds, because it holds a few more cards and it has a slot for some cash as well. But I find that especially at these events, you want to keep things as slim and as light as possible. This one slips right into my pocket and I barely notice it's there. I don't typically carry any cash on me, especially on these trips, and honestly, most of my cards are stored in my Apple Wallet as well, so all I need is my main credit cards and a place to stick my hotel key and my ID, and for that, these little card wallets are absolutely perfect. Now, this next one might be a little bit of an odd one out, but if you've ever been to Vegas, you'll know what I'm talking about: chapstick. When I came to my first CES 3 years ago, somebody told me to wear chapstick, and I almost laughed at them. I was like, chapstick? I'm not wearing chapstick. Needless to say that by the end of that week, I was left with some crusty ass lips. This desert air is dry AF, so trust me, if you come to Vegas, chapstick is your friend. I learned that the hard way, so you don't have to. At your service. The last thing that doesn't necessarily go into the backpack, and I say necessarily, is because I do sometimes stow them away in the backpack. That's these Ray-Ban Metas. I typically wear these Ray-Ban Metas all day. They're just so convenient, not only because they turn into sunglasses. These are the transition lenses, so they are clear inside and they darken as soon as they're hit by some sunlight. They're also useful because I'm literally wearing a camera on my face. There is so much going on at these events, so much to see and to do, and there just isn't always time to grab my camera, or the moment will have passed. Now with these, I just press the button on one of the arms and it starts recording. At the end of the day, I'll just pull all the clips from this thing into the app and then decide what I'll use. The one gripe I have with these is that they don't film in landscape mode. I know these are made by Meta and they're designed to record short form content, but if these would film in landscape so I could use the footage in my YouTube videos without having to crop in, I would probably never take these off again. Speaking of apps, you've probably noticed that I'm not using my iPhone 17 Pro Max, and that is because I'm using my iPhone Air. This phone has really grown on me, and yes, it has only the one camera lens and it sucks a little bit that I don't have access to the ultra wide or the zoom lens, but I'm already packing plenty of cameras during these trips, and the sheer convenience of carrying something this light and this thin makes up for it. It slides right into my pocket and I can barely feel that it's there. Good luck trying that with a 17 Pro Max. Also, I'm very pleasantly surprised by the battery life on this thing. I did bring the Apple battery pack, specifically designed for this thing, but honestly that thing has not left the kitchen counter here in the hotel room because I simply haven't been needing it. This thing has made it through the end of the day every single day, and I've been using it pretty heavily during these events. But there's another reason I'm using this. I'm actually working on a video about going all air, meaning I swapped out not only my iPhone Pro Max for this iPhone Air, but also my M3 Max MacBook Pro for the way more modest M4 MacBook Air with only 24 gigabytes of RAM, just to see how I would do, how it would hold up with my video editing needs, etc. And I think you'll be surprised to hear my findings on that one. And guys, subscribe to the channel if you want to follow up with me on this. I would love to have you here. Now guys, wherever I travel, my iPad Pro travels with me. I wouldn't call it part of my EDC since I don't carry it around all day, but rather a staple in my travel kit. I use it as an external screen to my MacBook Air since that's a pretty small computer, and I'm even using it for this video to read my notes in my hotel room. It's that versatility that I like so much about the iPad Pro, and that extends to the accessories as well, which is where today's sponsor ESR comes in. They make some of my absolute favorite accessories for the iPad, like the Shift keyboard case. This is probably the most versatile keyboard case I've ever used and the closest thing to a laptop experience. You can choose multiple angles for different scenarios, whether you're working on productivity stuff, taking notes, or drawing, or you just want to chill with some content. This thing can do it. Speaking of productivity, the edge-to-edge 65% bigger trackpad makes gestures really easy, and it has a 100% clickable surface. The big thing the Shift keyboard case has over the Magic Keyboard, in my opinion, is the detachable magnetic keyboard. I love being able to prop up the iPad wherever and just grab the keyboard as a standalone. And when you add it all back together, you've got your lightweight 360-degree protection. To make the protection all the way complete, the Ultra Fit Armoride screen protector has got you covered. It works just like their phone screen protectors, the easiest application process in the game with 0 bubbles. You literally can't mess this up, and if you want the whole ESR package, grab a Geo Digital Pencil too. Shortcut button, battery display, palm rejection, tilt sensitivity, and a superfine tip for detailed writing and drawing, all at a fraction of the cost of an Apple Pencil Pro. Oh, and in case you were wondering, yes, it has an Apple certified Find My module on board, so you can easily find it. Guys, save yourself some cash without compromising on quality. Links to everything in the description below the video. Now, for the MacBook Air, I just love how easy it is to carry this thing around with me. You'll see me moving around in this nice hotel apartment, moving room to room, watching YouTube videos or listening to music. It's a one-handed operation, and the battery life on this thing is just insane. I can use this all day and not worry about charging whatsoever. Needless to say that this thing is a heck of a lot lighter than my MacBook Pro, and that really does matter a great deal considering the number of steps you take on these events. Lugging around that backpack, every bit of weight matters. And speaking of weight, here's another one of my travel and event heroes, and I actually gotta have to grab it over there because I'm using it to film. This is another one of my travel and event heroes, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This little guy has been out for quite a while now, and I'm expecting a successor to drop in the near future. But this thing is still one of my favorite pieces of tech as a content creator. It's basically a very high quality little action cam on a gimbal, shoots in 4K, super steady footage. You can stick it anywhere and film even the weirdest angles. Nobody feels intimidated when you're pulling out this guy, which is very important, unlike my large cameras, which tends to make people feel a little uncomfortable. And the best part is that you can hand this thing to anyone, literally anyone, if you need a little hand getting a shot. It's as easy as pointing it in the right direction and hitting record. Highly, highly recommend this thing. Now, when I'm shooting for brands, I do use my actual mirrorless camera. The image quality is obviously superior to the DJI Pocket. It does a great job for what is essentially an action camera, but a tiny sensor like that will of course never give you the same results as a full frame camera. And I think I owe it to the brands and also to you guys to bring the best quality possible, which is why I still prefer shooting most of my stuff on a full frame camera. With that said, I did swap out my Sony FX3, which is my main workhorse, for this much smaller Sony a7C Mark II. Now, unlike the FX3, this is not a cinema camera. It's not built for long shoots, and it will overheat in certain conditions, or if you let it run for a long time, it'll overheat as well. But for these events where most of what you're doing is shooting in bursts anyway, the reduction in weight and size is absolutely worth it, and you still get that amazing Sony sensor quality. So the image quality is not much different from what the FX3 would produce. Perfect little run and gun camera for me personally. And lastly guys, my trusty AirPods Pro 3s. I am running around all day. I constantly have my hands full, so I can be holding a phone up to my ear as well. So these are absolutely fantastic for taking calls and for calling my family. The noise cancellation is best in class, amazing sound quality. I wear them in the gym, in the morning to listen to my beats there. And because the noise canceling is so on point, they're also great on flights. So if you're an Apple user and you don't already own a pair of these are a total no-brainer. Alright guys, there you have it, my little travel EDC. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any tips of stuff you think I should be having on this table which you didn't see today, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.